not be able to answer some questions, right? Yeah. Good morning, guys. Let's get started. So I'll be share once everyone just give us one or day for the people to join. The people who done the payment yesterday, they'll be adding to the group. So once everyone joins, I'll be sharing the notes here, and whatever the code I have whatever the code that we have written, I'll be sharing here. And at the same time, I will upload the code to the Ashok IT portal. You can download it from here as well. So the way you can download is, let me log in. See here, once you log in, you will be going to the dashboard. On the dashboard, you can see all the courses. Because I am a faculty, or I'm a person who is training the people, so I'm getting a teaching courses. So these are all the batches I taught you guys. I taught so far. Say core Java, advanced Java, DSA. So almost 35 batches I have taught so far. So for all of them, I'll be uploading a notes here. Well, let us look at 0 to multi-threading. Let's click on this view notes. Then you see that complete thread notes and interview questions, complete threads code. So like this, I will be adding a notes here in the Ashok IT portal. You can download it anytime. And I will also send notes in the WhatsApp group. You can download it from here, whichever is convenient to you. Okay. Now let's come into the today's class. And based on some requests, we are extending the demo class for today, guys. But if you feel you are interested, please do the enrollment. So, I mean, this will be stopped from tomorrow. Okay. Now, let's see quickly what we have learned yesterday. Yesterday, we started looking at the difference between a comparable, comparator, when to go for a comparator, when to go for a comparable. And we also have seen how to sort the array list, right? Can someone tell me what are the differences between comparator and comparable, and when to go and when not to go? I mean, when to go for comparable and when to go for comparator?
So comparable and comparator both are used for the sorting mechanism, and comparable is used for the natural sorting order, which is extended to the class for on which we need to do the sorting. And comparator is used to do the customized sorting. The object of the comparator can be passed as an external parameter to the sort method of a collection object. So if we don't want to disturb the existing sorting mechanism of the specific class, then we can use the comparator as an external object.
Yeah. So generally, whenever someone has written something, some comparable interface, overriding the compare to method, if you want the same thing, you can use it. If you want different, if you modify the code, the previous one who has written that code will not work. So the best way to do is create a comparator. How many ways we can create a comparator object and pass it to the sort method?
So we can either extend the comparator to a class and then create the object of it and pass, and other ways to create anonymous object directly in the sort method, and we can pass it.
And the third one would be the passing a lambda expression. Correct?
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you would like to know how to write a lambda expression in YouTube, my classes are there. Just go to Ashok IT YouTube channel. I mean, I'm not saying you guys to enroll it, but there are some demo classes in which I have explained what is a lambda expression, how to write a lambda expression. So since comparator is a function interface, you can write a lambda expression, right? So if you are interested, you guys can look at this. Yeah. So Java 8, 9, 11, right? So you can see on my screen, Java new features 8, 9, 11. Session 1, Session 2, Session 3, Session 4, 5, 6. If you look at these demo classes, at least you will understand what is a lambda expression, how to write a lambda expression. Okay. Yeah. Now let's go into today's topic called Hashmap. Now we have we have we know the internal implementation of array list, sorting array list, etc. Now we'll go into a hash map. Now let's create quickly. I'm just creating a class called map example. Main method. Now map. So what is the difference between a map and a list? Is the hash map a collection object?
No.
No.
Hash map is not a collection object. How can you say that it is not a collection object?
Because collection like list and set, the values are stored in the indexing form, but in map values are stored in the form of EM and
No, it is not. No, it is not. So for list, in order to call the collection object, so list is a collection object. The list is extending from collection interface. Yeah. But is the map extending from collection?
No.
No, that means it is not a collection object. So that is the reason you might see the collection. So map is a separate entity. Okay. So it is not a collection object. Now, so the difference between a list and map is in a list, how many elements you can add? How many elements you can add it to a list using add method?
It's unlimited. We can add
I mean,
as
so I mean, okay, let me ask the question in a different manner. How many parameters I can pass it to add method?
Only one.
Only one, correct? So you do not see, for example, if I can pass an employee object, I can pass any object. That means, but only one parameter I can pass it. This parameter will be stored internally in the object array, like at 0th index or first index. So how do you know which element is getting stored? The first time whatever you are adding, that will be stored at 0th index. Second one you are adding will be stored at first index. Third time you are adding, that will be stored at second index. It's a indexed based. So, but when it comes to a hash map, so map is having a different thing called key and value. So to the hash map, so in order to add a data to a hash map, you will be using a put method, right? Put method takes a key and the value. So in this one, so my key is A and the value is 1, 2, 3. So later, why do we have this hash map is, for example, now I want to insert, I'm creating a map object like this. EMP map. So in the EMP map, what I will store employee information. So what is my key is string and the value is employee object. Now, so the way I will store the data is EMP map dot put EMP underscore info. There is a constant string and I will put the data as a new employee. I'm creating an object. So if you now, whenever I go to the UI or whenever I want this information to be taken out, then what I can do, I can pass this is a string object. If I want to get this employee object, then what I will do, emp map dot get, and I will pass the string as emp underscore info. Then I will get a employee object, correct?
yes.
Yeah. So the difference between a map and a list is map is used to store the data in the form of key and value. But when it comes to your array list, you do not have key and value pair. To the add method of an array list, you are passing just one parameter and this will be stored directly. But when it comes to a map, using a map, you are storing two parameters. One is a key parameter and the second one is a value, right? Now, what do you think? See, whenever I'm calling like this, what happens? Again, the constructor of Hashmap will be called, correct?
Yes.
From this line, line number 10, line number 9, can I say Hashmap constructor will be called? Yes,
Yeah.
no?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, in order to understand the internal data structure, we learned what do we do? We look at the internal data structure. Like, so in the hash map, go to this class. See, loading factor is default loading factor. What is the default loading factor? 0.75f. I'll come to this little later. What is the loading factor? That's an important topic. I'll come to this later. Now, let's go to the hash map. So for example, if I am giving a hash map with some int parameter, see, they are calling internally another constructor. See, what does it mean by line number 462? This followed by initial capacity and loading factor. Is it a method or what?
Constructor.
Okay, yes. So whenever you are using it, this means this refers to a constructor. But how do I know which constructor to be called?
Parameterize.
Parameters, two parameters.
They based on the number of parameters that you are passing, correct? This refers to a constructor. Can I call a method with this keyword?
Yeah.
No. Yes.
This followed by this means
Yeah.
in the current object you can call, right?
Yes.
So whenever I'm using this keyword, can I call a static method using this keyword?
No.
No.
Yeah, the meaning of this is nothing but a current object, correct? So object, you are using an object. Using an object, what kind of methods will be called? Instance methods. So let's click on this. See, automatically it has come. Now, if you look at here, initial capacity, if it is less than 0, then illegal. That means your capacity can never be 0, can never be negative, correct? So they are throwing an exception. If it is not, then they are checking, they are creating some table size for something. Okay. Now, what do you think? What might be the data structure, internal data structure of Hashmap?
Hash set.
No.
Array list.
No.
State.
Then if it is the internal data structure of a Hashmap is array list, then why do we specifically need to study? You already know what is array list, right? Why do we need to have array list? I mean, Hashmap again separately?
It's for the key value. For the key we can say is a hash is hash set, and for the value there will be the linked list.
No. Now let's look at now here. For example, let us start. You have a string parameter emp name Karthik. Okay. Now int emp. For example, first you have a string parameter like this emp name. Now in future you are getting a emp id. Okay, equal to emp id equal to 1, 2, 3. How can you hold these two variables together? Because you see this employee ID is 1, 2, 3 belongs to a Karthik, but I just have two variables like string variable and int variable. Okay. Now, how can I hold this together? These two variables together?
Using map.
Okay. See, we are trying to learn map. Before that,
Employee object.
In object.
Yeah. So the way you do is generally. So if one more person is coming, again, do you create one more string employee name equal to Ajay? Int employee ID equal to 456. Okay. Now, if one more person is coming, do you create the variables like this continuously? If to store the multiple employee data, or how do you do?
We can create constructor.
Sorry, one person at a time.
Create a list.
Okay. In that list, what do you use?
We can create constructor also.
Okay, you will create a constructor. I mean, before constructor, what do you do?
List of
Type
objects.
of employee object.
Same type
Okay.
objects.
So list of objects, but what is the generics you keep here?
Employee.
Okay. So employee means what? What is this employee? Is it
Object.
an interface or a class?
Class.
It's a class. That means the answer should be you will create a employee class, correct?
Yes.
Why are you going
Yes.
for employee class? In the employee class, you can store any number of parameters. Say string, emp name, int, emp id, and double salary, and long Aadhaar card number. So in future, if any new parameters you want to store in the employee, can you keep it inside the employee?
Yes.
Yes. And how do you store multiple employee data? You will create a list object. Inside a list, you will have the generics as an employee, and at each a list l dot add, you will add one employee object. L dot add, you will add another employee object. Correct. So now here the scenario is, in order to store or in order to group multiple properties of an employee, what are you doing? You are creating a class called employee, and you are putting all the variables together, and then you are creating an object. Whenever you are storing an element, you are creating an object of employee and then storing it somewhere, right? Now similarly, now in Hashmap, in the Hashmap put method, how many parameters you are passing to the put method?
2 parameters.
Two
Two.
parameters. What is the parameter? First one,
Key.
and second one is value.
Value.
Now how can I hold key and value together? See here, how are you holding employee name and employee ID together?
Object.
By not a,
By
don't say
employee
that it's an
class.
object. Yeah,
Class.
by creating an employee class, correct?
Yeah.
And for every data, you are creating an object of this employee class and storing, right? Now,
Yes.
similarly, I want to hold key and value together, right? So what should I do? Can I say I should create some class and hold these variables so that you can add the data, correct? Now, the internal data structure of a hash map is node array. So why not object array? Because in the array list, you are passing only one object. So directly you can take an object array. But in the hash map, I am using two parameters. How can I hold the two parameters into one? So the internal data structure is they have created a class called node. In the above example, you have created a class called employee, right? Now they have named that internal class as node. You can name it anything, but if you follow the predefined data structure, they have created a class called node. What does this node will contain? Key and value. Now, can someone tell me what is the data type of employee name? What is the
String.
data type of employee ID? So how are you deciding this one? Based on the data that you are adding, correct? Yeah. Now, similarly, what is the data? See, now I am storing. So in the node class, what I'm storing? I'm storing, see, this, can I say this is an object only? Employee name is a string. It's an object. Now here, what do you think the key? What
Generic.
can be the data type of key?
Integer.
Generic.
Generic type.
Yeah.
It can be
Because-
anything, correct?
Anything,
So
right?
can I say, I should keep it as an object?
Yes.
And what about the value?
Same
It will be same.
String.
An object.
Object.
See, here, if you are putting a value as a string, that means here you can pass only string. But now let's look at here. Just now I have created a map. String is a key, and the first one is a key, second one is a value. Now, can I create a map object with different? See, string key as a double, correct? And value as string. Can I do integer? Can I do like this? Yes. That means the key can be anything, the value can be anything. What is the best data type to anything means in the Java is putting it as an object. So the data type of a key is an object, that value of data type is an object. Now, so that means in order to, the internal data structure is node. So whenever you call a put method, what happens? Whenever, see, for example, if you want to store 10 employees, then how do you do first? For each employee, you will create an employee object, correct? That means you will call the employee constructor, correct? See, list.add a new employee, and you will give the details. Agree? And list.add again, you give new employee and you will store the data. Yes or no? For every record of if you want to store the multiple employee objects, for every record, you are storing a employee data. Similarly, how many times can you call a put method on a hash map? How many times you can call put method? It is any number of times, correct?
Any number of
Yes,
Yeah.
whenever
It
we
all
want
depends
to see.
on how much data you want to add. Now, that means whenever I'm calling the put method, what should happen? Internally, it should create a object of this node class and store it in the node array, correct? That
Yeah.
means here in the array list, I am creating a object array, correct? But here in the hash map, am I creating an object array? No, I am going for a node. Why node? Why not object? Object means you cannot store the key value pair, right? But I'm creating a custom class called node. Inside a node, I'm having a variable for key and variable for value. And each record, whenever the user calls the put method, I will create a object of node class and then I will store. See, in the 0th position, one node object. In in the first index, one node object. In second index, one node object. In the third index, one node object. How will I identify the index? That is a different thing. But can I say that the internal data structure will be a node array, and at each position I will be storing a node object?
Yeah.
Do you understand till here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So the internal data structure of a hash map is node array. Now let's quickly look at it. Now let's go to the class node. Do you see? See, currently I'm present in the hashmap.class, correct? That means I'm looking at the source code. Now, do you have a class called node static inner class, right? Now, what do you think? So I'll come to this hash later and next later. But so do you see the key object and the value object, and they have a constructor, right?
Yes.
So that means they are creating the internal class called node, and they will be every time whenever you call a put method, they'll be creating a object of this node class and does it. Now let us look at what happens in the put method. What happens in the put method? Let us look at. Okay. So before going into a put method, let me ask you one more question. String s equal to a. Now what I'm doing is sys out s dot hash code. What is the output of line number 18?
Something digits will be there.
To bring that
Sorry?
hash code where that string is flowing to the
Hash code will get print for the string
It's
of
the
S.
unique identifier of an object.
Okay, that is wrong answer. Let's see. What am I getting? What am I getting?
65 ASCII code of A.
Then all of you guys said unique identifier, right? That means what might have happened? For example, if I put AB, or let us create an object of this class, correct? See, can I say now map example M1 equal to new map example, right? Sys out M1 dot hash code. So look at here. Line number 17, what I'm printing? M1 object hash code. Line number 20, what I'm printing? String object hash code. Agree? Both the times I'm trying to print a object hash code only, correct? But what object you are printing is a different. Now, what will be the output of line number 18? Guess it, guys. I mean,
this would create that identifier.
say some big number you are getting, correct? But line number 21, you are getting some different number. So what do you think might have happened? It's a core Java basic question. Or else let us give A. So why, whenever I'm printing a string, see, in line number 21, what I'm doing? I'm printing the hash code of a string object. In line number 18, what I'm doing? I'm printing the hash code of M1 object. When M1 object you are printing, you are getting a big number. But whenever you're printing a string object hash code, you're getting a ASCII code for corresponding that object. That means what might have happened? What do you think?
So first one may be the memory.
Any other answers? It's a
So
basic
for
of,
string, it's a predefined value for this.
okay. I'll give you one hint. What method might have been overridden? See, that means, see, in the hash code method is the behaving differently. Do you agree with that? See, whenever I'm printing
In
m1 dot hash
case
code, it is
in
giving me
case
some
of
number. If in case of string object, hash code method is
al
behaving something differently, correct?
already overridden.
Yeah. That means what might have happened? In which class it has overridden?
In string class, it's already
Yeah.
means overridden
Yeah.
for the parent.
Yes. So in the string class, they might have overridden the hash code method and they have done some logic, correct? So by default, whenever you're printing an object, what happens? Which class hash code method will be called?
Object.
Object class. So object class hash code method, let's see. See, hash code, and it is a native method. Native method implementation will be there in the JVM. Okay. Now, what does the hash code method will do is it will use a SHA algorithm. So whatever I'm teaching is not a data structure, guys. It's a core Java, but it is important to understand the put method. So if you are now from line number 18, whenever I say m1 dot hash code, do you guys think in the map example class, did I override the hash code method?
No.
No. Then what is the parent of this map example?
Object.
Object. So can I say now my object class hash code method will be invoked? And how it is calculating this hash code and that number is by using a SHA algorithm that is called secured hash algorithm. You cannot get this algorithm because it's I mean, as the name itself is telling secured hash algorithm, but you cannot get it it is implemented in the JVM. Okay. Now, when it comes to the hash string class, I'm not getting this output. I'm getting some different output. That means in the string class, they might have overridden the hash code method. Agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's go to the string class. And do you see hash code method? Is it overridden?
Yes.
And they are writing some logic, correct? Now, let us look at what is this logic. Now, if you go back here, now you just place the cursor over here. See, returns a hash code of a string. The hash code of a string object is computed as this one. Can I say this is a logic they are using to compute the hash code for a string class, not for a regular. So for regular object, the object class implementation, we do not know. That is there in the JVM. But when your input see s dot hash code means what object, on which object you are calling a hash code method? On a string object. In a string object, they are calculating the hash code by using this is a formula, correct? Now copy this formula and put it here. Let me make it big. Okay, this is a formula. Now let us look at, let me give AB. Okay. Now what is the string I have given? AB. And if I run the program, what is the hash code I'm getting? 2081. Now let me tell you how am I getting this 2081. So this is very important. I can 100% say that this you won't get outside. I mean, none of the people will teach. String S equal to AB, correct? Now, but can I say this is the formula? S of 0 is my, see, this is the string. S of 0 means what?
A.
A.
S of 1 means what?
B.
How
B.
do you know that? How can I get a characters from a string?
2 character.
2 array.
So can I say S dot 2 char array? This will give me the character array, correct? Now, after once you convert the character array, can I say this is nothing but A and this is nothing but B? This is a 0th position, this is a first position, and this refers to a char array, correct? Now let's look at, in the formula, just apply S of 0 is nothing but A multiplied by 31 to the power. See, this symbol is referred to a power, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. 31 to the power n minus 1. N is nothing but length. What is the length?
Yeah. 2.
2. Can I say 2 minus 1?
Yes.
Yes. Plus, you have a plus symbol. S of 1, B,
B.
multiplied by 31 to the power n minus 2. 2 minus 2, correct? Now, do you have anything else? Do you have anything, any other characters?
No.
nothing.
No. Done. Now let us look at a multiplied by 31 to the power 2 minus 1, 1.
1.
Plus b multiplied by 31 to the power 2 minus 2, 0.
0.
What is the ASCII value of a?
65.
65.
65 multiplied by 31.
31.
Plus what is the ASCII value of b?
66.
66. Anything to the power in 0 in mathematics?
1.
1. Now let's do 65 multiplied by 31. 65 multiplied by 31. 2015, correct? 2015 plus 66. Plus 66. 2081, I am getting, correct? Am I getting the same thing here? Output 2081?
Yes.
So this is how the hash code for a string is computed, right? Any questions? Now, for example, you might have one more also. See, let us take ABC. Then, see how many number of characters are there now?
3.
3. So A multiplied by 31 to the power of 3 minus 1, correct? 3 minus 1 plus B multiplied by 31 to the power of 3 minus 2 plus C multiplied by 31 to the power of 3 minus 3, correct? Now A multiplied by 31 square plus B multiplied by 31. Whoever is not speaking, please go on mute. C multiplied by 31 to the power of 0. 65 multiplied by 31 square plus 66 multiplied by 31 plus C multiplied 67 multiplied by anything to the power 0 is 1. Yeah. Now 31 square, correct? 31 multiplied by 31 multiplied by 65. 62465, correct? 62465 plus 66 multiplied by 31. 66 multiplied by 31. 2046. 2046 plus 67. Now let's do this. 2046 plus 67 plus 62465. 62465. 64578. 64578, correct? Yeah. Now let's do the same thing in the mathematics here. I mean, in the here. I'm giving the string as ABC. Now let's right click and run as Java application. Am I getting same thing? 64578? 64578?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the beauty of how the hash code is getting calculated for a string. It is only for a string, correct? But can I do a normal object or employee object? Can I do it? No, you can override it. See, in the map example, why am I getting this one? Hash code, it's a number. Can you do the calculation? No, it is using a secured hash algorithm. But in the string class, they have overridden this one, right? Now, let's look at why am I explaining all of this. Now we know the internal data structure of a hash map is node array. Because in order to store the key and value together, they are creating a node object. And at each position, they will put a store node object. Now, let us study what is happening. Hashmap.put assume that this is the key that you are giving. Key is A and the value is 1, 2, 3. Now the steps inside this put method is first calculate the hash code for key. And then do some logic to identify the index. Yeah, whoever is not speaking, please go on the mute. Insert, create node object and insert. Insert in node array. Array at the index find. Yeah, JP, can you please go on mute if you're not speaking? Yeah. Now look at here. First, calculate the hash code for a key. So these are the steps that are involved in the put method. I will show you the source code as well, but first let's understand. Now, what is the key here in this one hashmap.put a comma 123? What is the key?
A is the key.
A.
Capital A is the key.
Okay. What is the first step? Is telling first calculate the hash code for a string. What is the hash code for A? 65, correct? Yeah. Now do some logic and identify the index. So now what is the initial capacity of array hash map? What is the default capacity of hash map? 16, correct? Yes or no? The array, what is the default capacity of array list? 10.
Yes.
Similarly, in the hash map, the default capacity is 16. Now what I got is for A, the hash code I got is 65. For A, I got the hash code as 65. Can I insert this 65? For example, if I'm directly going by the index, I mean, if I'm assuming that this 65 is the index, can I insert in the initial hash map? Do I have the 65 index? No. That means it's a very big number, right? Now, if I took A as a string, so I got 65. Now, instead of A, if I have an employee object, then what do you think? The number? What is the hash code of an employee object? It's a 6-digit or 8-digit number, correct? So you will not have that index in the array. So that is the reason we are doing some logic to identify the index. What is that logic is? I'm just telling you simply to understand is what is the default capacity of a hash map is 16. So hash code divided by default capacity. So now what is the hash code? 65 divided by 16. What is the 65 divided by 16? What is the value? 4, correct? 4 point something. But if I'm taking it as an integer, it's a 4. Now that means in which index you will store this object a comma 1 2 3 in the 4th index. So 0 1 2 3 4. Now in the 4th index, what do you do is you will create a node object, correct? Because it's a what is the data structure here? Node array. What does the node array will accept? Node object only. For example, if I'm creating an employee array like this, emp array e equal to new emp of 10. Now e of 0, can I pass string object? Can I pass like this?
Yeah, we can do it.
No. Only
It's an
employee.
employee array, right?
Yeah.
In the employee array, can you pass a string object? No, right?
Oh, sorry.
You'll
Yeah.
get a typecasting exception, right?
Correct.
So now, what is the internal data structure of a hash map? Node array. That means at each position, what can you store?
Node object.
Node object. So now you know the node is an internal class. So what do you do is now you got an index as 4. At 4th index, what do is you will create a node object by calling the node constructor. Now, what are elements you will pass is in this node object? Let me write one box. This box is nothing but an object, guys. It is not an array. It is an object. In this object, what are all the elements that you will store? You will store hash code of key object, value object, and the address of next node. Address of next node. I'll come to the address of next node little later. Why? So what is the hash code of a key? 65. And what is the key object? A. What is the value object? 1 2 3. And what is the address of next node? For time being is it is null, correct? So this is how the put method works. Now let us look at again one more. Now let us do one more hashmap.put of capital Z, comma 456. Now what do you think how it will work? What is the key? Capital Z. What is the hash code for capital Z? So capital A is 65. See how many English characters are present in English? How many ABCDs are present? 26, correct? 65 plus 26 will give you the capital Z hash code. Or else I can do like this, correct? Go to the normal program, run as Java application. See 90 is my hash code, right? Now, so the hash code for Z is 90. But can I insert directly 90? No, because my capacity is 16 only, correct? Now, how do I get the index? 90 by 16. So 90 by 16 is what? 5.6. That means index is 5. You will take the index value. That means you are storing this object at which index? 5th index, correct? Now, in 5th index, how do you store? In the form of node. What does it contain? What is the hash code? 90. What is the key? Capital Z. What is the value? 456. And what is the address of next node? Null. Now, what is the difference that you have seen in the array list and this one? In the array list, whenever you call the first time add method, where does the element will go? In array list, first time, whenever you call the add method for the first time, in which index the element will be stored? Zeroth index. But here, the first time put method, is it storing in a 0th index?
No.
You are calculating, correct? That means Hashmap is not a indexed based, correct? Array list is a indexed based. Hashmap is not a indexed based because you yourself calculating the index and then storing the object. How are you calculating the index? By using these formulas. So this is how what happens in the Hashmap put method. There are some more things to learn. What is this null? What is that? Why are we storing the address of next node and all? I'll come to that part little later. But any questions so far? Any questions or clear? Can we move on?
So 16th I didn't get.
16 is the default capacity of the hash map. See, whenever you are creating what is the internal data structure I told? Array. So how can you create array without a capacity?
No.
So that means, see here, for example, if I am creating array here, int n equal to new int. Why am I getting a compilation error here? Line number 22.
You have not defined the size.
Okay, that means I should give some number, correct?
Yes.
Now, similarly, what is the data I told? The internal data structure of a hash map is node array. That means you are storing in an array only. So that means whenever you are creating a hash map object, you might need to give some capacity of this node array, correct?
Yes.
So that capacity is nothing but 16. Okay. Yeah, the default capacity of a hash map is 16. So that is the reason you are dividing it by 16. So this is not the exact calculation, guys. To make you understand, I've told. That is the reason I've written do some logic to identify, do some calculation or logic to identify the index. See, why can't you store this 65 directly? Because the default capacity is 16. You do not have 65. So, but instead of this a string object, if my key is an employee object, then what is the hash code of employee object? What is the hash code of an employee object? It may be a 6-digit number, correct? Or 8-digit number, right? Now let's look at here. Now let's create, if I'm creating my object is like this. If I'm creating a hash map like this. Yeah, whoever is not speaking, please make sure that you are on mute. I'm giving the flexibility to, I'm not muting everyone, guys, because to ask the questions. Okay. Now, if I'm creating an employee as a key and integer as a value, now how can I add the data to this one? emp map dot put new employee object, correct? Just give 1, 2, 3 employee ID and Karthik or some salary is this one. And the value that I want to store is 1, 2, 3. This is how I can add it, or I can create an object separately, correct? Cut it. First create an employee object. Employee E equal to new employee. Okay. And then I can pass E here, right? Agree?
Yes.
Now here, whenever I'm calling the put method, what internally I told? First key. What is the key here? In this
Key.
example, what is the key?
Employee object.
Employee. For employee, I should calculate the hash code, correct?
Yes.
So sys out e dot hash code. What is the number you think? Is it 65, 66, something like that, or big number?
It's a big number.
Okay. Now let's see what is that big number. See this one. So now whenever you're creating an array, what is the size you can pass? Can you pass a long parameter here? Now let us look at 7L.
Oh, no.
The 7L means what? L is a long parameter, correct? Now look at here. What it is telling? Type mismatch cannot convert from long to int. That means whenever you're creating an array size should be an integer only, not long, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Now here, but what have you got? E dot hash code means what you got? You got a number.
Yeah.
Can I say this will go out of the range of an int? Correct?
Yes.
Now that means can you find a, say for example, why now what I'm trying to say is why am I going to the second step? Why am I calculating an index? So directly you will say, sir, 65 is a small number. You can directly insert in the 65 position. Why are you going to the second calculation? Why are you calculating an index? The reason for that is instead of string parameter, if I'm using an employee, the employee hash code will give you very big number. This number, this index may not be present in the array, correct? Because it's out of range of int. So that is the reason we are doing simplifying something and calculating an index. The simplified calculation I told you is hash code divided by 16, which will give you some number. But in the predefined Java, there is some other logic. I mean, some logic we can find out later. But the easy to understand is if I give a 65 by 16, it is giving 4. In the fourth index, you are creating a node object and storing it. Now let's look at the put method. See, now let's go into the Hashmap put method and see what is happening. So let's go to the Hashmap class. See, do you see currently I'm in the Hashmap.class. Do you see put method is taking a key, comma value?
Yes.
Now internal they are calling what? Put value method. And put value method is taking these many parameters. What is the first parameter? Hash of key.
Hash of a key.
That means can I say this is also a method, correct? Internal method. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Now there is a method name is hash and the what are you passing? Key. Now inside it, what are you doing? Look at here. Key equal to null. That means if you are passing a null, what are they storing? 0. If it is not null, key dot hash code. That means can I say for the given key, what is the first statement I told? First calculate the hash code for the given key. Is it same?
Yes.
Yeah. And then what is the second statement I told? Do some calculation to identify the index. See, once you calculate the hash code, what are they doing? This is called shift operation, correct? This is a left shift bitwise operator. And then they are doing that shift-wise operation with a 16. Why 16? Because 16 is the default capacity. Now, once you calculate some number, let's go back to the Hashmap class. So let's go to the put method. Okay. So once this calculation is done and they're passing that calculation, key, value, some false and true to the put value method. Inside the put value method, look at here. What is a node? Node is a class, correct? And can I say, do you think that they are creating an array of this node class? And what is that TAB? It's a variable name, correct? Now, if you look at here, TAB of I, what is the I? It's an index. In that, they are calling a new node method and putting a hash value, key value. Now, go to the new node method. What are they doing in the new node method? Can I say that they are creating an object of node class by passing the hash code, key object, value object, and next. For the first time, next is null. So can I say whatever I have told you, are they doing the same thing internally?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now in the tomorrow class, what we are going to look at here is now Hashmap dot put B. My object key is B and value is 980. Now what happens? Now what is the hash code for B?
66.
66.
And divided by 16, what is the value you'll get?
5.
4, right? 66 by 6.
5.7.
No, 66 divided by 16. 4.1. 16 4s are 42, right?
Yeah.
So 4.1, that means 4. But at fourth index, what happened? In the node, currently at fourth index, one object is present, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
One already node object is present, but now if you add it, the previous one will be overridden, correct?
Yes.
Basically, it will create a list, right? Internally, I mean, node
This
array.
problem is called as hash collision, first of all. In the interview, they will be asking what is a collision in Hashmap. So people will say that if already object is present, then it is referred as a hash collision. But if you explain like programmatically like this, whatever I have explained to the interviewer, he'll be impressed, right? So because you already have, whenever you are putting hashmap.put a comma 1 2 3, already at fourth you are storing. Now whenever you are calculating a hash, see hash code is different, correct here? Hash code is what? 66, but previous hash code is 65. If the hash code is different, can I say that the objects are different?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that means I'm trying to put a different object, but what happens? My calculation has given me the same index. So if whenever you're trying to insert an object in the node array, or if in that index already object is present, that problem is referred as collision. In case of collision, the hash map follows the linked list approach. So that means the first node will be there. It will create one more node. Here it will create one more node. It will store the hash code is 66 and the value key is P and the value is 980 and null. Now, can I say this second object is in the air now? Correct? Can I 100% say that the second object is pointing it to fourth index?
Yes.
How can you say? It's in the air, right? There is no link between this one and this one, correct? So how do you create a link? That is the reason in case of collision, internet till 1.7, Hashmap is internally using a linked list also. First, it is using a node array. Inside the node array, there may be a hash collision, correct? That means at fourth index, already one node object is present, but you need to place another node. In that scenario, it is using a linked list. Linked list means first node will point to the second node. So now here, instead this null will be replaced and this node address will be stored in this location. So now at fourth position, you have two nodes. So in order to solve the hash collision problem, till 1.7, Java 1.7, they will be using linked list approach. From 1.8 onwards, it was gone to the B tree approach. So why B tree, I will explain later. So with this one, we are going to see in the tomorrow class, like some more details on the hash collision, what is a hash collision, etc. We'll be seeing in the tomorrow class. And if any guys, any of you wants to enroll, guys, please do it. And because like I just extended the demo class for today, because yesterday they might have, some of the students might have done the payment. They might miss today's class. So in the interest of those guys, I'm extending the class for today. But if you think that you won't need to attend, please do the enrollment.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, the employee hash code was bigger. So when
Yes.
it divided by 16, so still the index
It
will
is,
be.
yeah. That is the reason I told I have not written here exact logic, correct? I have written
Okay.
here do some logic, correct? In order to make you understand, I'm just giving you 65 divided by 16. But what is internally is happening in the hash map? It is not just by dividing by 16, correct? It's a right shift operation, right?
Yeah.
So you in the core Java, you have shift operations, bitwise operations, correct?
Yes.
So now if you look at here, hash, what is this one? It's a shift operation, correct? Now you just do this one, then you will get a easy index. I mean, index that can be easily inserted.
I did a bitwise operator long ago, so I almost forgot, the bitwise operator. Are you going to cover the
No,
bitwise?
that will not be covered. It's a basic, right? As I
Yeah.
mentioned, like core Java basics, you need to know. But just try it. I mean, just Google
Yeah,
it, you will
okay.
easily get it, right? Okay. But this is not that important. How it is working, that is important. See, you know some logic is happening, correct? No one is going to ask you the question of how the index is calculated. You know some logic like this one, but that is enough.
Yes, sir. They
But
are
if you,
how to calculate the hash key.
yeah, they will ask you hash code, right? That is what I told you, hash code. But they don't ask you the index. Even if they're asking you the index, you can explain this one. But if you need to understand, just look at the core Java bitwise operators or left shift operation. Okay, if I get time, any of the demo classes, I mean, I put some of the weekend workshops. In the one of the weekend workshops, I'll cover this. This Saturday, I'm hosting a workshop on the cloning. On 1st of June, I'm putting a free workshop on cloning. What is shallow cloning? What is deep cloning? What is the difference between shallow cloning and deep cloning in Java at 10:30 a.m. in the morning? You will be getting a poster and that will be shared to you all. If you guys are interested, you can attend.
Thank you, sir. Sir, in your core Java course, you covered bitwise operator?
I don't remember, that was last 1.5 year back.
Yeah, I took that course.
I don't remember exactly. It's it's very, I mean, not 1.5 years, maybe a 1.5 to 2 years. I don't remember. It's all, I have taken that course for 3 months.
Yeah, I was in that course, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Karthik, that floating picture is out on the IST.
Sorry, I could not hear you clearly. Can you please come again?
I mean that floating workshop, right? Is that poster is out on
The poster is not yet ready. It will be
okay.
posted soon.
Okay. And is there any chances that we will get the notes or
Notes for?
notes for the session?
No, I mean, it's a free workshop, right?
No, not for this DSA session. I mean,
Yeah, once you enroll for the course, you will be added to this group, 29 DSA. And then I will, once everyone is enrolled for this group, I will be sharing the notes, which I have shared the notes yesterday, right? I mean, I have shown the notes yesterday.
Yeah.
The notes will be given to you, all of you. And I will share the code also, guys. Whatever the code I am writing, I will be sharing with you all.
And I think those who have already enrolled, right? So, but by any
I'll
chance,
just wait for 1 or 2 days, or for those who already enrolled, I'll share it. Yeah, I'll do it. No, don't worry. I'll upload the notes to the Ashok IT portal. You guys can access it. Okay, Ganesh?
yeah. Thank you.
Yep. By end of today, I'll upload. Any more questions? Anyone? Are there anyone who joined newly?
Karthik, Adam here. So I joined last batch, but I couldn't attend the classes.
Okay.
So I've joined this class. So I was in notice period, and then I have moved to London now. So
Okay.
I thought, can I join this classes sessions?
Just check with the admin. I think you'll not be able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You'll not be able to. Yeah.
Hi, sir. I have joined newly today.
Okay. So did you get a chance to look at the previous videos, I mean, demo classes?
Yeah, like I'm going through it, but not completed all.
Okay. Any questions so far?
No questions. And I like the way you teach. Like, I'm able to clear out many of my concepts.
Yeah, good to know. Any more questions? So those who join, right? See, go to this Ashok IT channel. Click on the live section. I'm putting that link in the chat for everyone. Okay, and this you can see that data structures and algorithms. Like session 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 6th session. You can watch it. And guys, I mean, just watch this Java 9 features also. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will also would be helpful for you. You will learn something new. Okay. And Java 8, 9, 11 also. You see, I'm not asking you guys to join for the course. Even if you don't join for none of my courses, or that's fine. But what I think is like there is some, see, when I wanted to learn in my initial career, I struggled a lot to learn the basics by looking at the code. So once I started understanding the source code, I have never looked at any of the documentation. I'll go by the Java documentation only. Today also, what did I do in order to do this two-string method of hash code? I'm showing you the source code, right? And then this is a documentation. Is this a documentation provided by Java? Yes. Is there any other documentation or any blog can provide better information than this Java document? No, right? Because this is the source of truth, correct? Java documentation, right? Now, even if you click on this one, you will go to the source code here. They have written, you see, on top of this, do you see the calculation? S of 0 multiplied by 31 to the power of n minus 1. So this is the way I learned in my initial career. So whatever I teach, I do the same thing. So learn this like Java 8, 9, 11 or threads, the initial classes, you will understand some knowledge, guys. You will get some, see, I have taught linked list as well. In 8, 9 level, you will know what is a Lambda, how to write a Lambda, what is a functional interfaces. And in 9 and 11, I have already spoken about some of the features called try with resource and JShell. Some of the features, you can look at all of those. And in coming to the threads, if you scroll down, see multi-threading. In multi-threading, I will be teaching what is a thread, how to visualize a thread, why to call the start method, what happens if, what is the difference between start method and run method, what is the difference between independent path of execution and normal flow of execution. So all these things I taught in the Java multi-threading demos. If you are interested, you can watch all of this. Okay. So that's all for today, if no questions. And if you are interested, please do enroll. Any questions? Yeah. So thank you all. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day.